Hello Year 2 and hello Year 1 who are also joining us for this writing sequence. We're going to be retelling the magical story of The Lion King, which is one of my favourite stories, or one of my favourite films as a child. We're going to be retelling this story in our writing over 8 steps, 8 small steps, 8 sessions, 8 steps, 8 chunks of writing. And by the end of the 8 steps, you'll have a fantastic piece of writing that will transmit all the magic of The Lion King. I want you to think really carefully about the words you use in your writing so that we make sure that we entertain our reader a piece of writing that we're going to be proud of. We're going to do this chunk by chunk, paragraph by paragraph, and each session I'm going to give you a clip of the Lion King film for you to watch, and that will inspire our writing. Our first clip today is The Circle of Life, and I want you to watch the first half of that, only up to the bit where the animals arrive at Pride Rock. When you've watched the clip, I want you to come back and join me as we write our first clip. I'm only going to ask you to write 3 sentences, just 3. Of course, if you wanted to write more than 3, you're welcome to, but I'm only going to show you 3 sentences. I only expect you to write 3 sentences, but you can do more if you want. Each chunk will have 3 targets, and I'm going to show you how to use these targets in your writing. These targets are going to make your writing spectacular. These are the ones for today. The first one I want you to do is about what you can see. It's your sense of sight. And I want you to describe the sun and the sky. And I want you to think really carefully about the best words to do that. The second target is to describe action words. We call these verbs. I want you to describe how the animals are moving to Pride Rock. For example, some animals bounce, some dart, some crawl, some fly. And I want you to think about how the animals move to Pride Rock. And finally, I've got the basic symbol here, and I want you to think about capital letters, making sure the start of every sentence has a capital letter, and making sure that any place names start with a capital letter as well. So your task now is to watch this clip of The Circle of Life. You can choose to watch the original or the recent one, but just make sure a parent helps you make that choice. And then when you're back, come back and join me, and we will write our first paragraph. So press pause and I'll see you in a minute. So in your English book, I would use 2 pages. On one page, I'd have your thinking side. And on the other page, I'd write today's date, and this is where you're going to write your story. On your thinking side, you'll jot down any notes or ideas you have for your writing. Right, I better get started then with this writing. Now I'm going to start with a description of that beautiful sun that rises into the sky, that beautiful sunrise. Maybe I could write the sun rose to the sky. The sun... I'm going to go to my thinking side and jot down some ideas. What ideas can you think of to describe the sun? How about the bright sun? Oh, I like the word bright. What other words can I think of? The orange sun. The shining sun, or the golden sun. Oh, I like the word golden because that makes me think of gold, and that makes me think of kings and King Simba. The golden sun, yes, I like that one. I could even do the glorious golden sun. Glory makes me think of power. We're watching the future king in this episode. I've just got to be careful with the spelling of glorious. If I write glory, and then I lose the Y, and I can put I-O-U-S on the end for glorious. So back to my writing side then. So the glorious golden sun. Yes, I like this. We need to put a comma after that glorious, don't we? Because I've got 2 adjectives here. So the glorious golden sun. Golden is another word that's tricky to spell. The glorious golden sun. Oh, I like this. This sounds magical. But how am I going to continue from here? The glorious golden sun rises high in the sky. Oh, that rhymes. High and sky rhymes. I could do that, couldn't I? The glorious golden sun rises high through, like a journey through. That's another tricky word to spell. Through. It's got tricky spelling at the end. So how am I going to continue this then? So the glorious golden sun rises high through the, let's go to my thinking side, through the sky, through the blue sky, through the dazzling sky, maybe, through the sunlit sky. Could work, I like that one. Or how about through the sapphire sky? Now a sapphire is a gemstone, like a blue gemstone. And it's actually one of the words that's used in the song, The Circle of Life. So that might be quite a good word to use. So the glorious golden sun rises high through the sapphire sky. And this is our first sentence and our first target complete. So for our next target, our next sentence, we're going to think about our action words, and we're going to think carefully how to describe the movement of the animals. So what animals did you see in the clip? I definitely saw some birds. You might know what type of birds they were. I definitely saw some elephants. I saw some antelope. I saw some giraffes. And I even saw some ants crawling along the branch. Now, how do these animals move? So birds fly, don't they? Birds can swoop. They can glide. And elephants, how do they move? They sort of stomp along, don't they? They're very wise, aren't they? So they ponder, they think about things, good memories. But that's not really their movement, is it? Let's forget ponder. How about wander? They do wander along, don't they? Or amble is a word that we use to describe how elephants move. And for antelope, well, they bound, don't they? Are they almost like bouncing in the film? You can see them looking like they're really bouncing along. And I feel like the giraffes, they sort of trot almost like horses, but then they sort of have these really long legs and have a really sort of long stride. And then ants, I can only really sort of think of crawl with what ants do, but maybe you've got some other ideas. Now in my paragraph, I'm just going to pick 2 of these animals to describe, but you could add more or choose more. I'm going to do birds and elephants, I think. So I've got an animal that's in the sky and then an animal that's on the ground. So I'm going to start off by describing the birds. So birds fly, birds swoop, birds glide. I like glide. I feel like that's more peaceful, and it's quite a peaceful scene as all the animals are together going in the same direction. But where are they gliding? Are they gliding in the sky? Gliding in the light? Yes, I like that. Birds glide in the early light, because it's morning, isn't it? Birds glide in the early light. And then I'm going to do, so I'm going to write and then I'm going to say how the elephants are moving. So birds glide in the early light, and elephants, not stomp. Stomp sounds too aggressive, or like they're moody or something. Elephants amble, I'd say. And the elephants amble. Oh, and I've got an idea for this. Birds glide in the early light, and elephants amble across an unwinding path. Now I've gone for unwinding path, I think, because in the song, that's a lyric in the song. It says path unwinding in the song, an unwinding path. To get that into our writing. Unwinding means that the path isn't winding, that it's a straight line, it's a straight direction. Brilliant, so that's our second target done, and so we've just got 1 target left now, and our final target is our basics one, where we're going to use capital letters for at the start of our sentences, and we're going to use capital letters for any names. So I'm going to put the animals, where are they going, these animals? They're going to Pride Rock, aren't they? So the animals are heading. That's a bit more precise, isn't it? The animals are heading. It sounds like they've got direction and they've got a purpose. They know where they're going. The animals are heading to Pride Rock, capital P, for pride, and capital R for rock, because that's the name of the place, just like Gampton with a capital G, or Devon with a capital D. Pride Rock. So the animals are heading to Pride Rock. Why are they heading there? You don't have to write why. It might be enough just to write the animals are heading to Pride Rock, but I'm going to write to catch a glimpse. I like to catch a glimpse because I feel like it's more detailed. It tells you that the animals, perhaps they struggle a little bit to see the king because there are so many people there. And it just tells you a bit more detail, gives you a bit more detail than to see the king's son, Simba, or to see the king. So the animals are heading to Pride Rock to catch a glimpse of the king's son. And the name of the king's son is Simba, isn't it? To catch a glimpse of the king's son, Simba. Now, if you write Simba in yours, make sure you start his name with a capital S. Now I'm going to read over what I've written. So the glorious golden sun rises high through the sapphire sky. Birds glide in the early light and elephants amble across an unwinding path. The animals are heading to Pride Rock to catch a glimpse of the king's son, Simba. I really, really like this chunk, this first paragraph. I can't wait to read yours. They don't have to be as long as this. They don't have to be as detailed as this. They can be longer or more detailed if you want to. But anything simple, just 3 simple sentences. I was delighted to see that, and I'm really excited to read your work. So make sure you upload your work onto your Class Dojo portfolio, and I really can't wait to have a look to see how you've got on. All right then, so see you tomorrow. Bye bye.